first speaker today comes to us all the way from Skopje, Macedonia. His name is Dejan Davcevski. Dobra večer, Dejan. He is the founder of Life Coach Code, creator of the Code Method, and an acclaimed author. Renowned for his insightful writing on human health, motivation, philosophy, and success, Dejan helps individuals achieve happiness and prosperity through his innovative codes, which reprogram negative paradigms and foster personal growth. Described by Steve Pavlina as one of the brightest young minds in the field, Dejan combines his expertise in SEO, life coaching, online content creation, and marketing to empower others. His work transforms lives by crafting a mindset that supports continuous improvement and success. And if you want to connect with Dejan, he is at lifecoachcode.com. Please join me in welcoming Dejan and how to become superhuman.
Thank you so much, Mark, and so nice to be here. I hope over the past 2 days you had a wonderful time and you really opened your eyes to all these infinite possibilities that are existing all around us. So today I'm going to speak about some subject that when I speak about, a lot of people scratch their heads because they don't really believe that they have superhuman abilities within them. So before I start, I just want to mention that I'm Dejan Davcevski. I'm happy to be here. As I said, I'm the creator of Life Coach Code and the founder of the Superhuman University. These are platforms where we focus on the 4 fundamental pillars of a human being: the spirit, the mind, the body, and the heart. And we help people discover the hidden superpowers within each of them. I'm also the creator of the Superhuman Summit, but I'm going to speak a little bit about that at the end of this talk. So before we begin, I want to ask you a question. Do you believe you have superhuman abilities within you? And no matter what your answer is, in this talk today, I'm going to prove to you, in fact, I'm going to show to you 4 superpowers that you have that you did not know, or maybe you know about some, but you did not know how to use them. So first, I want to start with one simple exercise. I want all of you in the next 10 seconds to start looking for things around you that are yellow. Just yellow items starting from now. Try to see how many you can find. Okay, now I want you to close your eyes and tell me how many red items did you saw? Probably not many because you were looking for yellow items. So now open your eyes and try to find how many red items are all around you. You'll probably discover that there are a lot more than you thought. And this is the case because you were not looking for them. So in life, our reality renders based on the things we focus on. We see only the things that we are looking to see. Based on our subconscious mind, based on our core beliefs, based on social conditioning, how we were raised to be, our mind has been developed in a way that can perceive certain things, and for other things we are blind to. This exercise is proving the power of the reticular activation system and how it actually renders your reality. The mind is the engine of reality. It literally shapes your reality. So it's like water. It can take the shape of any container, but you are the container, and you need to reprogram yourself to become any container you want for the mind. And the mind then will render the reality that you want. This is one of the greatest superpowers of the mind. Another thing, I will tell you a short story. When I was a kid, I was playing football outside with my friends, and whenever we were playing, I would think to myself, I would literally imagine like I'm downloading a program that's run faster. I was watching a lot of movies, yeah, and I was this dreamy kid, dreamer, and always imagining things. So I was imagining that I'm downloading this program of running fast, and I'm clicking play, and after this, I would literally run faster. It wasn't until I grew up that I realized that even professional athletes use similar techniques to reach more of their potential, to achieve peak performance. And these techniques, there is actually a science for them. And there are a lot of visualization techniques that can help your mind unleash more of your potential. Now, there are many, many, many techniques. We have supercomputers on our shoulders, and nobody gave us a manual how to use it. We go every day. It's like you have access to ChatGPT and you're using only for calculation. There are so many other options that you can do with your mind, but nobody told us how to do and what to do and how to use it. So we end up just being slaves of our own minds, and unfortunately, most of our sufferings come from there because we're not using it. So one of the things the Navy SEALs say is that whenever you feel that you cannot move any further, whenever you feel you are done, know that you are at your 30%. This is just your mind fooling you because it tries to reserve energy. So you think you are done, but you're actually at your 30% because the mind is also the governor. Now, we go to the body. I'm going to speak a little bit about how the mind is trying to fool you. First, the body is, you need to understand it as the vehicle of life, and this is a super vehicle. It literally has the ability to heal itself, to repair itself, and most importantly, to adapt to almost any environment. It's just like the earth is the platform from where we flourish from. It's the only thing, only part of you that's always in the present moment. If you ever want to ground yourself in the present moment, it's your body where you should come from because it cannot be in the past or in the future. It's just right now in this present moment. So what I realized about the body and its ability to adapt basically was when I ran my first marathon. And I believe it's going to be the only one because it's such suffering that I would not like to go through again. But before I ran the marathon, before I ran 42 kilometers, the maximum kilometers I ran was 21. And after finishing my half marathon, I realized I was thinking to myself that running one more circle like this, it's literally humanly impossible, even though I was seeing people doing it. I was thinking I will never be able to do it because I know how I felt after I finished the half marathon. I felt dead. I didn't have any quanta of energy left. So it was not possible for me. But then I read one quote and it said, everything you want to learn about yourself, you can learn in 26 miles or 42 kilometers, which is one marathon. So I had to do it. And few years later, after I a little bit prepared, again, I didn't run anything more than 21 kilometers. I remember laying in my bed, shaking the night before the marathon, not because I was afraid of the marathon, but I was afraid of myself because I know how stubborn I am, and sometimes this stubbornness can get in front of me. And I know if I start, I will finish, even if it means I'm gonna die on the track. So I was literally afraid that this thing, I'm thinking it's impossible that I'm actually gonna do it. So I remember that the marathon started, and my strategy was okay, so I'm gonna run the first circle like in an easy way without even listening to music, just so I can run half marathon. And then when the second circle starts, I can feel like I'm starting to run a marathon, which of course didn't work because after the first circle, I was again feeling dead because after 21 kilometers running, you feel dead. And I didn't know how I can go on forward because it's not just a physical battle. In my city, the track is not just you're running a bigger circle for the marathon. You're actually running the same circle 2 times. So you don't just run more, you also have in your mind the things you pass, they're reminding you how much more you have to run and how much more you have to suffer to finish. So it's literally a mental battle too. So I kept running. My mind kept speaking to me, screaming to me to stop. I kept moving, kept moving, kept moving. The more I go, the more the loud the mind was. And there is a place after 30 kilometers, what runners usually call the wall is when your body literally has no more carbs to burn, so it starts eating from itself. So you can either hit the wall and crash, or you can break the wall. And what happens after you break the wall is something really interesting. You actually get an out of body experience and you see yourself from above. And it was such an interesting experience because in that suffering, I felt such peace that I haven't felt in my life. And I was just observing myself and observing the mind, how it just keeps screaming for me to stop. And I kept gently moving forward and moving forward. And then I came to the last mile and the mind just stopped. And I was seeing the finish line, I crossed it, and I realized that it's one of the best feelings in life, but I will never do it again. And this realization came to me with another one. I didn't believe this is humanly possible, and now I did it. But also, the purpose of a marathon is that one soldier in the past needed to deliver a letter to one king from a war zone, and it took him 42 kilometers to reach the king. Then he delivered the letter and he died from exhaustion. That's why we run marathons, in his honor, so to say. But these days, marathons are a sport. Every day there is a new race. So from something that was little to a human body, now we came to something that's just a sport, and that millions of people are doing it. So it means the human body adapts. The human body can adapt to anything, things you almost think are impossible. That's the superpower of the body. When we go to the heart, I want to just share with you and be vulnerable why I started running. When I was 6 years old, my mother died, and my family did the best they could to shelter me from this tragedy. They did not show emotions, thinking that they're gonna protect me. But in fact, what ended up happening is I mimicked their behavior and I started suppressing my emotions. So as I was growing up, I became a slave to these emotions because most of us think if we get rid of the emotions, if we suppress them, that we actually get rid of them. But in fact, the only way to get rid of your emotions is to actually start feeling them and embracing them. And then you don't even have to get rid of them because they go away from you, because they serve their purpose, because there are no negative emotions. Each emotion is there to tell you a message. And the biggest mistake we do is we try to run away from them. We try to run away from the voices and the speakings of our soul. So we neglect these messages and we try to cope with life. But these emotions sooner or later will resurface. And how they resurfaced for me was I was becoming this angry person that I was drinking alcohol. I was becoming so angry, like a monster was taking over me. And I remember one day I break few things at home and I realized that these people that I'm living with, they don't deserve what I'm doing. So I will never do this again. I will figure it out, even if it means on my own, what's happening with me. So I did the best decision of my life. I started running. I not knowingly just started to exercise. But while I was running, I realized that after every run, this monster was getting away from me. I didn't feel this anger anymore. So it was like I'm opening the windows and this smell of trash that I was always feeling is just getting away and I can breathe more. I can breathe better. But it wasn't the solution because after a few hours, few days, this emotion was coming back again. So I was trying to figure out what's happening, why every run I feel better. And plus I'm having these downloads, these codes, these messages, these wisdoms that were the inspiration for Life Coach Code, where it was a personal platform where I was sharing my realizations. So I was trying to figure out, I started researching psychology, philosophy, religion, biology, everything I could research to discover what was happening to me, what was this dynamic, what was this phenomenon. And after a few years, I started having panic attacks. And when I had panic attacks, I went to a psychiatrist, they gave me pills. But I was feeling that I shouldn't drink the pills because they're not really solving my problem. They're just masking it, they're putting it under the rug. So I wanted to deal with this myself. I threw the pills, I got really angry, and I said, no, I will go to exercise, and I know that's a trigger for my panic attack. I'll exercise and I'll finish my exercise, even if it means that I die on that field. So I went there, I started exercising, I felt the panic attack coming, and immediately I started panicking and trying to go home. But I stopped myself and I said to myself, remember what you promised to yourself. So I came back, continued to exercise, and I felt the second wave of the panic attack, and then the third, and I embraced it. I was literally ready to die just to feel this emotion that I was feeling. And when it took over me, in the same way, then it passed through me. And then every other panic attack I will have in my life was lower and lower until they completely disappeared. So what I realized after this is that the panic attack is all these emotions that I was keeping suppressed within me that I couldn't no longer keeping them suppressed. So they just blowed up in this chaos that I was feeling as a panic attack. And we are all of us not dealing with the emotions here and there in our life, and we're suppressing them, thinking we can escape them, but they're always with us, coloring our reality. The only way, the only purpose the emotion has is for you to feel it and to understand its message. And when you do this, you will understand that your soul is always speaking with you, that your soul is always guiding you towards your best possible direction, either towards certain things that are beneficial for you or away from certain things that are harmful for you. And what we do is we either try to avoid the emotions or suppress them or distract ourselves in social media or video games or alcohol or whatever towards certain other things just so we don't feel the emotions, just so we don't listen to our soul. And that's why we become so detached from our soul, especially in the modern society. But as I said, the heart is like fire. It can literally burn everything around you and destroy it if it's left unchecked. But if you learn how to manage it, it can become a source of unlimited power, just like the sun, and it can light your path forward. And after a few years of that event, I was laying in my office, and it was the first day that I made the most money in my life. As a 20-year-old, I made 5,000 euros, and for me, that was insane to make 5,000 euros in one day. I thought that's the last thing I needed so my life can feel perfect again, as I was feeling it when I was a child. I ran a marathon, I found a partner, I researched everything, I learned what I needed to learn, I built my business, I earned this money. So I was laying in my office and life was still the same. It wasn't as I was feeling it when I was young. People were still the same, nothing really changed. And I was thinking to myself, why? What else? What else do I need to do? I was scrolling through Facebook and then a photo of my grandpa and grandma showed up. After that, a video of them, a prank I was doing with them, and tears started rolling through my eyes because I realized that all this time I wasted trying to recreate my past, that I completely ignored the beautiful things that are in my present and all the people that are still alive around me, that I can spend time with them. And no money in the world can replace 1 second with them after they're gone. So I realized that I was keeping my breath, not trying to breathe, until I reached some imagination land that was a construct of my mind, while I could have breathed all this time, because it's the spirit is just like air. It's all around us. And at any moment in your life, you can start living and following your purpose. At any moment in your life, you can get the fuel of existence, which is your spirit. And think of it like this. You have magical sails on a magical boat. And these sails, you can adjust them. So no matter where the wind blows, if it's sideways, you can always adjust the sails to take the wind and to always move forward. Even if the wind blows against you, you can always put the sails down so at least you don't move backwards. That's the superpower of the spirit, the greatest superpower maybe you have as a human, to give meaning to things that will ease your way forward or to take away meaning from things. Because in life, there are some things that we cannot change, but we can give the meaning to them that is easing our way forward. And one of the greatest abilities of all is that even if you don't have wind, even if wind is not blowing, you can create your own wind and always move forward by finding your purpose and having that thing that at any moment when you wake up in the morning, you feel alive. From that moment, I restructured my business, and it wasn't anymore about me. It wasn't a platform where I share only thoughts. I opened up to all other experts and coaches from all around the world, and I started helping them, for them to reach more people, for them to be successful. So because each of their success, I know it's going to help a lot more people. And each of them has a piece of the puzzle. So when we put all these pieces together, we're going to get a complete picture of the whole potential that we carry as humans. Because it's not about any one of us, it's about all of us together, creating this big wave of change. So we at Life Coach Code, we believe you have superhuman abilities within you. We know you have. That's why we developed the Superhuman University. And that's why we developed the Superhuman Summit. The Superhuman Summit is an annual event we organize every November from 11th to 14th of November. And it's 4-day virtual event where we focus on each of these 4 fundamental pillars each day. There will be over 30 speakers. And as a gift for all the listeners today and all the people who are part of the Infinite Possibilities Summit, I want to give 50% discount and for the 4-day pass for this beautiful event. If you scan this code, it's gonna take you to the landing page where you can get your tickets. And with these tickets, you get 4 days to experience your real transformation. This year is all about how to escape the matrix. So we're gonna speak about all these mechanisms that are keeping you stuck playing the smaller game of life and how to actually get rid of them and start playing the greater game of life. So I want to thank you, everyone, for listening to me today. I hope I inspired you to pick a little bit more within you and to understand that you have so much more potential. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. And that's all from me right now. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dejan.
Yes, thank you so very much. My compliments to you, sir, that you are able to so wonderfully communicate in what is not your native tongue.
Thank you so much. And I hope I didn't have a lot of accent.
No, but I want to make sure that you
you're very
understand
clear.
that it was very clear, and even more importantly, that the message translates in multiple different languages. And that's what's so powerful. That is the superpower right there. Thank you again for your share. Pearl, do we have some questions?
We do. The first question is from Gene, and he asked, during the last few kilometers of your marathon, as you were telling that story, were you still consciously trying to keep yourself going, or did it become more of a subconscious motivation?
Oh, that's a very good question. It became more of a subconscious motivation, and I knew that I will not stop. So it was just like I'm feeling like I'm playing a video game and I'm the player, and I know the character of the video game is suffering, but as the player, I know I'm just gonna go forward. So it was more like this. I don't know if this makes sense.
Gene?
Gene is texting, so he's maybe, you want me to bring you the mic,
Okay,
Gene, or
it
you're
does.
camera shy?
Nope, he already dropped it. He says it does make sense. So I just didn't
It
want to.
absolutely does. Thank you, Dejan.
All right, excellent.
And then one more question. I think we have time for one more. Can you share a quick story about a client's journey to become superhuman?
Absolutely. So as I said, we work with a lot of coaches that are specified in one field, and they are experts in this field. And some of our clients are also coaches. So there was one coach that became part of the Superhuman Summit, and after that joined the Superhuman University. And they were focused mostly on biohacking and improving the physical potential, so to say, but they were unaware of the mental potential. So inside the Superhuman University, they got in access with a lot of programs from experts that are showing exactly how to use your mind and are showing exactly the user manual of this supercomputer we carry on our shoulders. So they expanded their, so to say, teachings. And this year, when I spoke with them, they told me that this thing is part this they are actually they changed the coaching approach, so they don't just implement now biohacking things, tips and tricks. They also share with people tricks of the mind and how to use the mind to improve their performance. So in a way, they expanded their abilities. I cannot say they became a superhuman because we believe we are all already superhuman. They just unlock more of their abilities.
Fantastic. Love hearing that. And when you have a moment, you'll see in the chat there's a lot of love going on for you.
Thank
So
you so
thank you
much to
so
everyone.
much. Scott, that is it for questions, unless there are questions in the audience there.
You did really good, Pearl. And again, thank you. I hope I do this right. Is it Dejan?
It's Dejan, but people call me Dejan. It's
Dejan.
I'm okay with it, so it's not a problem.
How about if I just call you Superman?
I'm not a Superman at all. We are all
Thank you
superhuman,
very
but
much.
yeah.